Hello my friends, my name is Dominic, and in this video let's explore the philosophy of ArchiCAD and its methodologies. This will not only help us understand the inner workings of ArchiCAD but also uncover intricacies that we might have missed during our self-teaching efforts, propelling our designs to the new heights. This video covers only 20% of the contents of the upcoming webinar, where we'll delve deep into the key factors that are holding us back from skyrocketing our productivity and starting to produce quality architectural projects with ArchiCAD. Check the link below to see all the details of the webinar. It's limited to only 50 people. Make sure you don't miss out on this great opportunity. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are on a mission to reduce the number of people who view our videos without being subscribed. Statistics shows that 60% of our viewers are not subscribed to this channel. We can only achieve this with your support. I thank you for the support you have shown, and we don't take it for granted. Without any further ado, let's get started. My friends, to get started with this video, I want us to understand the BIM-centric approach of ArchiCAD. It means it's been built on a BIM platform. BIM means, I'm sure you know, building information modeling, which means it focuses on creating a digital or a visual representation of a building. And this comes in a form of physical and functional characteristics of a building. So there are different methods or systems that ArchiCAD supports. Not only BIM, we have VDC, which is Visual Design and Construction, IPD, Integrated Project Design, and also we have Lean as a system. We'll delve deep into this system on the webinar because we cannot cover them all in this video. So check the link below to access all the information about the webinar so that you become part of that. So the philosophy of these systems revolves around leveraging technology to streamline the design process and enhance our collaboration so that we can create better buildings and structures for the built environment. So there are many aspects in terms of these technologies or systems in how we process the design. But I want us to focus only on a specific aspect, which is the information side of it, because all the systems use information to inform better the project. So I want us to cover that aspect, the use of data and parameters to inform better our project. I have my ArchiCAD open here, and then I have MS BIM 2024 ArchiCAD template. So you can check the link on the description to get this template. But this doesn't mean you have to have this template in order for you to follow along with this tutorial. No, if you have your own template or you're just using a ArchiCAD default template, it's fine. You can follow along. What I want to focus here, like I say, the use of information in these methodologies or in these systems, because ArchiCAD supports all these systems, and let's see how ArchiCAD uses that information under those systems. We'll pick one element, because if we want really to delve deep into this concept, we need to just pick one element and then replicate that across all elements within your virtual building. So I would go to the design tool palettes. On the left side of your interface, there is this design tab. You can collapse and expand it by just clicking on it under design, right? And then you can activate the wall tool. Is the first tool in the list if you are new to ArchiCAD. So if you click on it, this section, which is called info bar, will become active to display all the parameters or the settings or information about this tool or this element. So we have also the settings dialog where you can expand this and access more information in or maybe in a broader perspective. So let me just stretch this so that we can fit all this information inside here, and then it's been divided with sections, right? We have the first section, which is geometry and positioning. Obviously it determines the position of your wall, but it's been determined by linking your element to the stories. For example, currently it's been linked, the home story or the offset from 0, it's linked to the ground floor, and you can also start it from foundation floor depending on your design requirement. Okay, and then it's been linked again at the top to the above floor. That's why we have top link, which is the story number 1, right, which is the upper floor from ground floor. And then here it will calculate the height of the stories, the height between the 2 stories from ground to story 1, which is 3 meters. That also will be calculating or determine the height of your wall, for example. But if you go back to your story settings and adjust the height of your height of your stories, for example, if you say Control 7 to access the story settings, let's say Control 7 in your keyboard, or maybe we have to cancel this first. You can say Control 7, or you can come and right click in one of the stories here on the view map. Let's just right click and then go to story 7. Like I said, shortcut is Control 7, Control plus 7 in your keyboard. If you are using Mac, it's Command instead of Control. So let's change the height of ground to story 1. So maybe say 4 meters. If we change it and hit OK, if you go back to the settings of this wall, you would see now the height of the wall is being changed, or it now addresses what's the height of the 2 floors, which is great. It's just the basic how information can inform better your project. And then we have also this part where we can use a basic or a composition of materials or a profile. But as you know, these walls, it's a composition of materials. You cannot just have most of the elements in your visual building will be a composition of materials. If it's a concrete, you have to have a series of different materials that binds together that slab, for example. If it's a roof, also you have difference of materials that assemble the entire or the complete roof. So just like that in ArchiCAD. But normally we can use just the basic for maybe for conceptual or sketches. Sorry about that. But if you want to now represent, if you want your visual model to be a representation of an actual building, you have to do things right. So our wall is going to be keyed on a composition, and then we're going to create a composition. As you can see, we have a default list of composition that comes with ArchiCAD template. We're going to see how we can leverage different technical information coming from different suppliers, manufacturers, or whatever product manufacturer, to see how we can bring that information into ArchiCAD and have a true representation of our building. So that's the reason why we're doing this video. And then we also have another important aspect here or section is the structural analytical parameters, where you give the meaning to this element. Is it a non-loading or a loading bearing? The structural functionality of this. So in this case, I would say it's a load bearing element. And then you can also check what exactly is this element. It's a wall. In terms of the structural membership, it's a wall. There are 3 types of structural membership. We have a plate, wall, shell, according to the ArchiCAD concept or philosophy. So let's just key in wall, and then you can say, you see here we have allow rule based modification. So we want to check all the boxes to ignore some small openings and stretch and cutbacks. Okay, so here down below is the translation of that information we just assigned there. Another section which is important is classification and properties. If you click on it, you would see we have tons of data about the wall. Okay, So some of this information comes with as placeholders. It's just the parameters for you to key in information there, or you can even customize such. But I want us to look at under classification. Let's just, you can hover your mouse here and then stretch this a little bit. Classification is very important because it's the systems that we use to tag or assign information and manage how the information is being used for every element in ArchiCAD. Every element that you place or becomes part of your virtual building, it has to have class or classification systems. So it's important. In this case, in this template, we have three types of, or three systems we are using to assign to our project. So I would also, so the first one is ArchiCAD classification, which is a default system that comes with your ArchiCAD. So I would like to use it just to assign an element name. For example, it has this, you can have a wall, your columns, footing, blah blah blah. So I'm just using to name or label my elements that way, that I know this is a wall. Under master format classification system, we use it to give it a specification or the formation of the material of the art element. For example, it has tons of information there to assign to your project. For example, we have different, say, ceramic glazed clay Mansuri. I think I'll go with this one. Yes, ceramic clad Mansuri. Then choose, and then for uniformat, it's just for the description for our element. What is it? What exactly is this in relation to the building components? So I would say, and this is under shell superstructure. I will just search here on the search bar, say a wall. It will give all the different types of walls here: exterior wall construction, exterior wall supplementary components. But what do I need to do here? Exterior wall I think I will go for fabricated exterior wall assemblies, because what I'm trying to do here is to come up with let's go for fabricated exterior wall assemblies, because this we're gonna use it for a different material composition. So I think it's the relevant, it's the appropriate specification to that. And then from here I would say, but let's say, okay, no, let me just leave it the way it is. There's a lot of information that you ended up confusing you to choose from, but you can just be simple and then choose just the exterior wall, just like that. Okay, and then we have the model parameters, which is the surfaces. I don't like to use this one because I'm overriding the materials that are supposed to be represented appropriately. So I'll just hit OK. I'll come back to this one. I can just get rid of it for now and then hit OK. So let's just place the wall here. I'll draw this wall to here. Just pick the first point and then I can key in the length of the wall, just say 5 meters. Right, so I'm in the different what you call a different view for conceptual plans. That's why my wall, it's just solid like this, but I want to expose this. You can just get rid of the graphic override combination, or you choose a different or an appropriate view for this. Perfect. We have that. We can just come here and say no override, but it's basically the same thing. So we have this kind of a wall. It has two skins or two layers of materials. We have this gray, I don't know, it's gray or whatever, and then this one. So let's see how now we can leverage this section and create a series of materials to assemble our element, which is a wall. So the first thing to do is to load. I have a library that I want to load for the materials or surfaces that I'm going to use, because ArchiCAD does not offer everything. Remember, some of the information has to come from suppliers, from you, because these are materials that comes from someone else, isn't it? Hey, someone has to manufacture this information, this materials. You as an architect or designer, you choose from the suppliers or the manufacturers. So most of the time we're depending on the information they provide to us about the product or the material. So let's go to file and then libraries and objects, library manager. I'm going to load my custom surfaces that I've downloaded on internet. So I'm gonna just load, but before you do that, I'll cancel this. Before we do that, let me introduce you to one of the sites here. Let's say we have this coral brick sites. This they do manufacture the bent bricks, so they have different types of bricks they produce. This is in our region, this side. I don't know, there are a lot of that, tons of this on the internet that you can check depending on your region. In this case, we have different materials here, as you can see. So the good part of this website, they give you technical information about their project, about their products, for example, and then they can also offer the BIM library for your ArchiCAD and Revit. That's so impressive. I love this website. You can also click on one of the material here and then say view. You can view the swatches or the textures and download this into your ArchiCAD. For example, see this one, I can just say download, and this is if you download, you'd see it's a high quality image. Let me just show you. Wow, it's a high quality image. And then you have they will provide you with the specifications and also like the texture that I just downloaded, and the classification, how you can classify this into your ArchiCAD. So also this specifications is very important information, because you have your compressive strength there, you have your efflorescence rating, your moisture expansion category, and then there are tons of things that you can get from here. And they also have the technology within this to calculate number of bricks depending on the information that you provide. If you say my wall is 3 meters high and then the length of it is 5 meters, they can give you the number of bricks to do. They have that feature here, which is face brick calculator. So for example, we can calculate the number of bricks for our wall we just placed here, which is this wall. Let me cancel. So I know the length is 5 meters and then the width is 3 meters. The thickness is 3 meters. So if you go back there and then key in that information here, the length is 5, the height is 3, so 3 meters. Instantly they'll give you the number of bricks. So we have 765 bricks for this wall, and all they give you the mortar mix, amount of sand required, amount of cement required, which is fascinating. Okay, so about this. You find all the manufacturers of this type of materials, they offer this kind of support in order for you to just have a rough estimate of what you are doing. Okay, let's go back. I've downloaded one of these materials that we're going to use in our demonstration this side. Let's go back and then go back again to file, libraries and objects, library manager, to load our library that I just downloaded from internet. So it's going to be on downloads. This is the library. I'll open, and then perfect, it's here, it's loaded, and then I can just say okay to to embed it into or link it into my ArchiCAD. So it will take a bit to load, and then from here let's see where the library has been assembled. So if you say, for example, come here and then open no, not this around. What you want is to access that information and see how we can use it into this wall. For example, if I to F5 and then put this wall in 3D, for example, this is just, and there's no any representation whatsoever of a physical or actual element, right? What we said, these methodologies systems, which is BIM, VDC, IPD to Lean, they represent the actual, the physical and the functional properties of an actual element within your virtual model. So let's see how we can make this that sorry about that. Okay, so the first thing to do is to look at different aspects that assembles the information within your element. I'm going to start with the surface. We're going to look at surfaces, building materials, and then composites. We're going to see how this work hand in hand. That's how ArchiCAD function. They use these element attributes. They are called element attributes because they are the ones that glues everything together. Your physical and then your graphical representation of your element is based on these attributes, from your fields, surfaces, building materials, and then composite. You come here under composite and then glues everything together. From your lines, your pens, we bring everything by using a composite. We'll see that in a minute. So let's start by creating a surfaces first for our walls. I'll say go to surfaces, because we need to create a material. In order for you to have a material in ArchiCAD, you have to create surfaces first. By default, we have this in this our template. You can see it's nicely arranged and formatted well. What you need to do is to go down below here and then say, I would say new. All right, let's say new, and then I would say, because I'm going to create series of materials here, I want them to be in the same section. So I better use a code that I would know it's for this. Let's just say ACM or say BIM, for example. I would say BIM, and then this I would hit OK. I'd like to give it a name according to the texture name. So for now I'll just hit OK as running bond, that one, which is this material. We can come later and readjust that information. So let's go back down here under texture, and then we replace this texture by clicking on this button for browse image, and that's where our library comes in. So if you scroll up, you'd see there are linked libraries here. So we have our ACM textures there. Let's open that and then find our brick that we got from our manufacturer, and then hit OK. All right, I would like to make it or link original proportion, okay, so that we can have it nicely like that. If we say, I think let's make it, yeah, I think we can leave it at this measurement. Okay, so that's, now I can come back because it says Sapphire Satin. That's the name of the brick. I'll say Sapphire Satin. Right, this will be face brick. Okay, so and then the color, the surface color should be relatively closer to what we see here. All right, once we're done, let's create another material again, and then say BIM. This one also, just that hit OK. We're duplicating it because we want to reuse the same system, which is BIM. I want to group them here so that I don't have issues of navigating when I'm trying to assign it. So this one also I'll just do that. For this I have different types of aluminum panels here. I'll start with this one and then take the name, rename it there. This is called gray metal facade cladding, facade cladding. I'll just say metal facade cladding. Then I'll link the proportion as well, and then set the color to resemble what we see, or the texture, which is that. Okay, let's go back again under new and create another material. So let's go back here, browse. I'm going to go for this one. Hit OK. Make sure you link the proportion right. Then the name is metal industrial cladding. Let's just say industrial cladding. Yes, we have the fourth material that we need to create as well. Browse. This one I'm looking for. What is this? I'm looking for the insulation, but we'll come and create an insulation material after. Let's go with this one. Its name is the red metal facade. Facade. I'll just say red metal facade because it says the name is already exists. Okay, and then we have an insulation material, because these materials, if you join them together, you're gonna have to have a form of insulation within your element. So I'll create a texture for the insulation as well. Browse, I have it somewhere there, which is this one. The name is insulation building rep. Insulation building rep. Okay, I think everything is fine. I think I forgot to change the colors for this one. It's supposed to be orange like that. Okay, for this one it's fine. Industrial, maybe we can reduce the intensity a little bit. For cladding it's gray, that one is fine. For this, let's make it white. Make it white. Okay, so now, so that we have the color of the material, its class, whatever, and then the name of the material. Okay, so also make sure this is locked. All the material has to be locked. So make sure it has to be locked. Even this one, lock. Yes, I'm pretty happy now with all of these materials that we created. Let's see how we can bring this material together now. I'll hit OK, and then we'll go back again under element attributes from options menu, element attributes, and then we want to open the building material section. So here again we're going to create a material now. So remember, these two layers represent what's in this list. I don't know, am I making sense? We have two skins here, or two layers of material. We have this more like a plaster, and then we have the core, which is the core brick or core wall, which is this gray thing. These are only two materials used for this element. They were extracted from here, or they were created based from here. So if to see where this material are located within this, let's just cancel, and then if you select it, you go to options, element attributes, and then open again building materials. You'd see where the materials are being located, because ArchiCAD will highlight those materials. We have this generic structural wall or structural material, which is this gray, and then we can find another material supposed to be, where is it? Yeah, I think it's this one, generic cladding. Yes, Yes, it's the one. You can see the color as well. So that's basically that. So we need to bring our materials here for the surfaces we created. Remember, let's say new to create one, and then I'm gonna also group them here by the abbreviation of BIM, and then the material will be, we're gonna start with the bricks. Okay, I forgot the name of that brick. Okay, I said sapphire satin. Oh, sorry about that, I didn't see sapphire double P, sapphire satin. So even naming of the material, guys, really counts, because that is the information that you can also extract and share. It's very important to see how you name your materials. What's this? Saffron brick. Let's say, I'll just say clay brick. Okay, and then hit okay. That's the material we just created. Well, we'll have to define the structure and appearance, and then we have classifications here down below. Then we have properties of this material. You have the physical properties like the thermal conductivity, the density, and this information we can get it from this table from our manufacturer. So let's go back and then a few bricks. Just want to show you. For example, if you open one of the material here, one of the bricks, and you see this specifications, you can get this information from here and then load it to your ArchiCAD. So for example, if you say compressive strength, and we have moisture capacity, category, exposure zone, these are the information that we can reuse into our ArchiCAD properties, physical properties of our material. So I'm gonna assign it a class and then specifications. But before we do that, we need to redefine the structure and appearance, because this would determine the physical appearance and the graphical appearance of the element. Graphical is important for your drawings, your basically for your drawings, sections, elevations, plans, blah blah blah. And then physical, it is important because you need to have a physical representation for that element. So for the cut fill, I'm going to use a common brick. Let's say a common brick. For the texture, I'm going to load the texture that I just created. Where is it? Satin. This is the one. And then I also need to define the color of the hatch, which is going to be, I'm just going to use 13101, right? That will be the color of this hatch. Okay, so the strength, I can reference the strength of this material because it's important, because the ArchiCAD use what you call intersection priority to connect the elements within. So when a wall meets a wall, there have to be a smooth connection. And when a wall meets, for example, a load bearing wall, when it meets a partition wall, a dry wall, for example, it has to be communicated very well. So that communication comes from how weak or strong the material comes. Okay, so for example, I need to benchmark on this brick and see its strength is 540. So I think mine also around 600 is fine. Okay, so from here I can create another material as well. This will be okay. For now I don't know the name, the exact name. So what I do, I'll say I can come here and then bring the name first, which is the red metal, and rename it the red metal facade. Yeah, this is a red metal facade cladding. and then because this is not it's a different material, it's not a wall, it's a metal, right? So what I need to do is to change the H to represent metal. If we have metal, I think we have aluminum, right? There we go, as a fill, and then the surface is fine like that. Go back again, and let's create another material as well, which is going to be industrial cladding. I'm just gonna say industrial cladding, then get rid of this one, and then that. So also this is an under material, which is for under metal, but I need to confirm the strength of metal. Let's just find a metal which is, we have aluminum. I think 311 is steel, structural steel, stainless steel. They go up to 970. So let's just say this, let's say 970. Same applies to this one because they're both metal for cladding. Let's create another one because we have a couple of materials there. Let's load metal for cage, then give it a name, facade. Get rid of one. It's the same cut fill. Then I can go back, create another material, which is the last one, the insulation. Insulation building wrap. All right. Okay, for the insulation, let's also confirm the strength, 410. They're basically 410. So I'm gonna just do the same for my insulation material. Okay, so we have all our materials created here. So we need to go back. Let's hit OK to complete that, and then from here, if you go to again element attributes from your options, and then open now composites. Let's see how we bring all together those materials now into an element. Okay, let's say composite. Then from here, what we need to do to understand is that we have list of composite. This is already available composition of materials that comes with ArchiCAD, and then you can see all these are specific to the tool that they're gonna use. You have your wall element, slab element, roof element, and shell element. So it means what we are going to do here is to create a composition of these materials for a wall element. That's what you should bear in mind. Okay, so I'm going to say new here to create, and then you see each and every composition here has different list of materials assigned or arranged in an order on how it's going to affect or impact the construction of the element. So I'll hit on new, then I can duplicate this to get advantage of already the listing, or just say new from completely. I'll say new composite. This is going to be we're gonna start with the one of the metal what you call one of the metal facades cladding. Okay, so I'm gonna use the beam as the, for the sake of you guys to understand and reference across all the attributes how we've been creating this. So I'll say beam, and then this is going to be the naming. Like I said, it's very important. So I'm going to say brick wall and aluminum facade cladding, because this information, we can also use it to label or annotate our sections or any view, depending on whatever information you can do. So you better put it in a nice way, or put it in a way that it can become your specifications as well, or your annotations for you. So that's how powerful it is. You can just use everything that's around the element to communicate your building or your design. So let's hit OK, and then I'm going to uncheck this to activate only the wall. So we have a brick as a default material in the list, so we need to assign it the Sapphire satin brick. Okay, and then from here you see each and every element has a line type. As you can see, you can choose a different line type for this. And then we have the pens both for the lines of the wall and the lines of the material, and then the hatching, right? So if you select one element here, you see there's this arrow that indicates the position of this. So if I change to that one, it will go at the top. So these ones, I want them to be in a 0.13 kind of a gray color or pen, which is 101. I can just key here 101, and then no, what am I doing? Yes, I'm doing the right thing. No, this one has to be thick because it's the pen for the brick element, and brick element from the plane graphically, it has to be thick. So I'll just use maybe 0.25 for this, which is 41, and then the hatch, which is this, I'm going to use 0.13 gray color. As you can see, we have both the representation of graphic and then physical preview. Right, then we're going to insert another skin, another material. Let's insert. Then this one is going to be we're going to put our insulation. Right, let's put the insulation. Where is our insulation? Building wrap. And then also set the pens. For the insulation, I'm going to go with 0.13, and then the hatch should be 101. I think hatch is fine at this. And then we also have the thicknesses of these materials. So for this, according to the specification of my supplier, we have 106 is the size of is the thickness of one brick. So if you make it 2, it's going to be around 250. Let's just make 250 for this to accommodate plaster, or just say 220. Okay, that's the height. You see now it changes the preview here. And then the wrap, let's make it, that insulation, make it 80. We forgot to change the material of the insulation. As you can see here, it's still under the metal. So let's quickly say OK, and then go back to our building materials, and then change the insulation surface to something like this, but insulation. Okay, we have different types of insulation fields. All right, which one should I use? Okay, let me just go with but, and then hit OK. If you go back to the composites, you'd see it's updated. Perfect. So from here we need to add another layer of the cladding, another layer of the cladding. But before you clad, you'd want to apply, it depends, you want to apply the cladding fixtures. Okay, normally comes as the T's, and they call it T's for this, where you bolt or you screwed your aluminum composite, whatever metal plate or panel into the that structure. So we need to add that layer first. So I'm going to insert it above of this insulation material. Right, by so doing, you need to select it so that it can be inserted above. So let's say insert skin, as you can see, and then I'm going to change this to be just aluminum because they use aluminum for that. 80 is fine as well. I can make this, yeah, I think let's make maybe this 100. I don't know how thick insulation materials can become, but yes, you'd want to use an appropriate or exact accurate data here. So for the sake of this, guys, bear with me. For the sake of this demonstration, bear with me. So aluminum, yes, I think it comes around 80 by 40 with the profile of one member. So I will use that. I'll select also this and then insert another skin above for our cladding. So this time around we're gonna go for which one should we use? We should start with a facade. Let's go for this one. Okay, perfect. Now we need to be mindful again with the layers, I mean the pens. Okay, what I want here, there are two ways. You can make the contour line of your element be thick, and then you can just make or differentiate the strength of the materials with the size, with the pen weight. For example, if you look at the brick, it's a core material here, it's a structural material here, so I set it to be at 0.25 millimeters. Yeah, the lines should be thick, and then the rest is just 0.13, which is fine. I think we can leave it there. We would try both methods where we have these two lines outside and the bottom to be thick, and then to include everything once. I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. Let's hit OK, and then to assign that composition to our element, we have to select this and then go here under structure, then change by selecting the list there. We have it there, it will change to that. Okay, that's basically what I wanted. I don't think this is the material that I wanted for the facade, I mean for the cladding. Let's select this and then right click, say edit selected composite. What we want to do is to change this to, I wanted, yeah, industrial cladding with this one. Perfect. So I think this is we didn't change also the size, the thickness of this, because it has to be less than 50. So normally this panels comes as just for now 40. 40 still the, let's go back, right click again to edit, make it 20. Yeah, something like that. I wanted that so that you can see on the edge here wrapping around. That's the nice thing about using this methodology. Okay, so once you are done, there will be issues of representation. Okay, so there will be issues of representation. If I had to remove these ones, let me just say make a copy. I just want to show you some of the interesting stuff there. I'll make a copy of this and then right click, then edit. Let's duplicate that one. I'll just say one, for example, and then remove. Let's remove this just to remain with this installation. Change this to this one. This is the, I created this because this texture to represent this material. It's so important because you really want to represent elements the way they are, and I think the head looks huge, right? It looks huge. Okay, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share with you in terms of that. But if I had to, if you feel the panels dimensions are small, what you can do, you go back, you can select the element, because how does this, the way attributes works, if you select the element and then you go to the window of that particular attribute. For example, in this case we want surfaces. With the recent version, ArchiCAD will select or highlight those materials that the element has been selected in your file. So right now I have 3 materials, which is that I want to change the size of this. Let's increase the size to maybe 2 meters. Let's see. Boom. See, now it has changed. Okay, so now we have a true representation for this. Okay, so now it's important to understand how this information can be leveraged. The information that we've been talking about, we covered a bit, classifications and properties, we covered the surfaces, we covered the creation of the actual building materials, and then we covered how do we bring the materials together now into one thing, right? So from here, what I want us to check is the leveraging of that data and see how we can really take this into the next level. Okay, so if we go back to the ground floor, you start to see the composition of these materials. Okay, so we have these different lines. I don't think it's well represented graphically. Sorry about that. So if you go to view and then on-screen view options to uncheck true line weights, but that's where you can see or judge your element. But let's select it and then go back to our composition and then try to fix that first. So for this one is for, we are going for this. Okay, this is 41 1. Yeah, all these are on 1. Okay, I think they're pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm happy with the I'm happy with the pen sets. Whatever, I can also create a custom pen set for this if I want, but for the sake of time, let's just leave it there. Okay, so now I want us to see different ways of extracting this information in your drawing. So I'll start with the one on elevation. So if you have to open this elevation from the panel side, from the cladding side, which is going to be this elevation, right click, then hit open with current settings. This is the element, right? So I'm going to uncheck the overrides, for example, but it doesn't been cut. So yeah, I need to maybe bring it right here because the extent of this ends here, so it has to be inside that region, so that if you go back it becomes solid like that. So I can which the south elevation, if you go here under the view settings and find that elevation, which is then south elevation, if you right click on it and then go down under elevation settings, we can say we want to see the true representation of that material here on elevations, right? So let's go for the model appearance section. I can how do you extend this? You cannot. Okay, it's fine. Okay, I can just stretch it down below. So I want to impact the uncut elements, the elements that I see, which is the section. So I'm going to say I want to show texture, the surface texture fill, right? And then yeah, I think that's one thing that I need to do so that it can show the actual material. Perfect. We'll come back to this elevation again to do that. Let's go back to our plan view. So I want to place a label here, so I would go to documents section and then activate the label tool. We have for this template we have different types of labels. Let's just check in the list there. We have a leader. Yeah, you can pick one of this. Pick one of this and then click this. So you see the labels very important because it's how information is being leveraged. Yeah, we have what you call auto text. So if I say click on this, highlight this, and then double click on the text, for example, I can delete this auto text and then go here and insert auto text. Okay, if we insert auto text, we can find a way of labeling this. To start with is to use I can come here and create a different specification for that. Let's say we want the class. We can start with the wall and then see under the wall section what can we extract. Okay, so you have all this information. These are the parameters of the walls that we can do. Area of doors, area of windows, stuff like that. So but I want us to focus on the classification and properties. We have the, let's add this one, and then I'll add all of this. Let's just do that, something like that. Okay, we have this in a linear way, but I want to differentiate it by enter for walls, and then for, okay, this one is supposed to end here. Yeah, this is just by pulling data using classifications, okay, that we've assigned, as you can see. So the information that is lacking here is the cladding part of it, fabricated part of it. It just talk about the core brick, which is the masonry. You see, it will confuse other people. So how do you extract this accurately? You can use again and introduce a different maybe let's say I'm going to go back to wall settings. Instead of under master format says this is ceramic glaze masonry, let's find a better way, maybe a fabricated, because it involves fabrication. So if you say, let's just type wall, and then we can see we have metal composition, material, wall panels, this information. Yeah, this information you can pick from here. And then the problem with that, if you, for example, if you say metal composite, material, wall panels, it will be represented there. But I wanted to show you the best way of doing it. I'm going to change the label. Let's pick this label settings, and then or you can just say Control Shift D and drag this label there, make a copy, right, and then I can put it somewhere there. Maybe I can align it from there, right? And then I'm going to change the type of label that I've been using. So let's go for a different label, or still with the same label. We can double click on it, and then let's delete everything. Okay, I can, because it's a wall, I'll just leave it as a wall there. And then let's find another auto text, which is going to be the, is it under general parameters? I can just search composites. Yeah, general parameters, building material, composites, stuff like that, or composite structure. It will depend. Let's add this one and see. You see, it gives us the name for the composition, right? That's why I was saying you better be careful in naming your elements, because your materials and your composites, your attributes are very important, because they're the ones that defines also the specifications. Let's make another copy for this and try a different, another spec, and just align it there. I think this one needs to be dropped somewhere there. Okay, so this time around, let's find we have building material. Let's check building material. I think composite structure is still the same. Building all materials. Perfect. So we have all the materials now. I can say let's get rid of, no, not get rid of, we can yes, we have a description there, which is the composite name, and then we have, which is this name, yeah, composite name, and then we have the list of all the materials that assemble this element. And then we have another one. Let's make a copy, Control Shift D to make a copy there. I can stretch this, even if I make a copy, because it's the same element. So if you want to see the relationship between the element and the label, you can just hover on your label like this to highlight your element. So I'm not losing that live connection or the connectivity, even if I duplicate, okay, because I'm duplicating within the same element. So with this one, I'm going to change the type of label under the settings of this label. Let's just drag that. You have a different types of labels here in ArchiCAD. This comes as a default in ArchiCAD. So what I want is the list, the skin list, which is this skin list label, and then hit OK, because it also gonna give us that opportunity to list all the material like this one, but in a different way. This we can assign it with the sizes of each skin, which is cool. But by default it comes with this type of leader. So let's go back on the settings. What I want to do here is to, let's say under pointer, I want to activate the pointer, right? Then what else can I do again? If you say okay, yes, perfect, now it's in the same with that. But I want it to be aligned with or the justification should be on the left. So I can come here under text alignment and then make sure it's on this side. And one thing, let's explore what else can we expose here. We can go back and under the, let's collapse this one, right? I want to go to the symbol label custom settings. As you can see, we have some parameters to define here. We can show the header text, we can show the thicknesses if we want, we can show also the units which is this and the thickness of that. So one thing that we can also check is on the next page, which is the show properties. So we can also create properties and values of it there. I see it's a very good tool in ArchiCAD. And then I can get rid of the separator, these lines, so get rid of it. And what else can we do again? Yeah, I think that's basically what I wanted to share with you. There is another one. You can, instead of showing thicknesses as dimensions, we can show it as percentage. For example, if you hit OK, so it will show percentage wise in terms of the whole element. I think you should put also the units for percentage. I don't know why I didn't put. It should show. I don't know why it should show. Okay, but that was not a big problem. 52 means it takes 52% of the entire thickness of the wall, which it makes sense because that's the core, that's the clay brick, it's the core brick, it's the core material for this. And then we have insulation that takes 24. 19 is the aluminum, which is our fixing plate. Then we have the actual panel for the cladding. Okay, so that's basically how you can do this. If you go back to the section, if you go back to the elevation, this information also can be captured easily there. It can be captured easily there, as you can see. Then maybe I can change the size of it to 1, stuff like that. This I would want it to be straight. Yeah. Okay, so this information also can be achieved by, or can be accessed through your scheduling. For example, if you come here within this template, we have the what you call the legends, where we do a reporting. So if I come here and find the superstructure, go here and find this wall, you find we have already have some data extracted here for the wall. Okay, so we can also indicate some categories here to capture really very specific information about our wall. So for example, we can expose all these schemes. Let's say go to scheme settings and then say add a field for skin. Do you have skin? A skin insulation, skin thickness. I don't think we can say we want the composite. Yes, this one. Let's add also with this composite structure and see what information to give. I will drag it right here under element type. Yes, you see now we have a bunch of information that comes from our composite, and then there are tons of information that we can extract even from the, let's say, wall section. In the wall section we can find, we don't have skin parameters here. Yes, we can also find all the surfaces that have been used. So if you say outside surface, let's see how it will behave. Yes, so say outside surface, it gives us that material, which is good. And let's see if we put another, we have outside, let's say inside. Yes, we can also, if the wall has number of doors or windows, we can also extract that information as well. Yeah, that's really amazing. So I'm just gonna put it there. Then let's see what is there. Yeah, the outside and the inside, which is great. If you made it to this far, congratulations, we came to the end of the video, and then now I'll thank you for that. And make sure to check the link on the description to join our webinar. Make sure you book your seat early, because you don't want to miss out. We will be delving deep into these systems and see how best we can leverage this to our advantage and bring everything in ArchiCAD. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and then like if you see this video interesting. Share with those who feel they deserve to see such kind of information. And if it doesn't feel interested in this video, just do me a favor, hit that unlike button. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.